got back from LA, because we ended up our flight got delayed annoyingly.
Right.
Oh yeah, I told you. And then so we didn't get home till like
simple fact.
Just after midnight last night, and just within 1 minute of leaving the airport, I was like, "Damn, it's so dark here." We're like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, that is something that's nice about being in the big city, I guess. I mean, you could say the exact opposite.
I was thinking the opposite, yeah.
Well, it depends. Do you want the vibrancy and reminder of human activity and the accompanying light noise and air pollution? Or do you want to be free of that? Depending on your answer,
And getting the less visible water pollution from companies that know they can get away with dumping things into the waterways.
Sure.
It's a trade-off.
Still, yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off, but still nice. Nice to have you back in Los Angeles.
It was so nice to be there.
Got to be back on all your favorite highways.
That's
to heaven.
That's right. My favorite highways to heaven.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
I was on highways to heaven.
You got to go to Olive Park and see what was happening there. Meet all the characters.
Hey, you know what? I did meet a bunch of characters at a little park. I was at our friend's wedding.
Yes, that was very nice.
Yes, which I don't know. My daughter will not. She is. Next time she goes to a wedding, she's going to be like, "What the fuck is this?"
I know that for that to be her first wedding. I mean, that was a really fun one. That was probably one of the most fun ones I've ever been to. I haven't been to a lot of friend weddings, because I feel like everyone starts getting married at about like 35, which age I am now. But that was maybe the most fun one I've ever been to.
It was really so fun.
And your daughter seemed like she was having a blast. Maybe too much of a blast.
She said it was her favorite thing about our whole trip, and that her favorite part of the wedding was the costumes.
Yeah. Well,
so
again,
shout out to Anna Bahari and Nick Meyer,
yes,
who do the Donna Blath costumes. Follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, Donna Blath.
They do a great job.
But yeah, your daughter is going to be disappointed when she realizes that is not a fixture of the wedding scene. There will probably not be Donna. Unfortunately not, unless they get more commissions. There will probably not be Donna Blath costumes at the next wedding.
Also, probably won't be the bride and groom will probably not show up in a lowrider blasting bass heavy music on hydraulics. That will also be and then they come out to a completely choreographed dance.
Probably not. Nor will the blessing of the bride and groom take place with a sitar arrangement of Higher by Creed, which I thought was a very touching
which you immediately picked
choice.
Up on. It was so funny.
I did clock that one, yes. But my ears are trained to hear a couple things, and that is one of them. So I would know that anywhere, I'm afraid. But yeah, it was I would say non-traditional Hindu ceremony with some traditional elements. And, I was very open-minded. I was like, despite being a Protestant, I got to say, this is pretty amazing.
You're all going to hell, but this is beautiful.
Exactly. Sometimes you have to open your heart to other cultures. Oh, maybe going to hell. But hey.
Although, you know what?
It's not their fault.
After watching the episode that we did for today, maybe you just have to be nice to go to heaven. I was taught otherwise growing up, but these angels had me kind of convinced. These new angels in our life.
These new angels in our life. Let's get into it. I want to talk about these angels. Welcome back to Boys Bible Study. We are on a highway to heaven this week, folks, with some new angels in our life that we're excited to tell you about. Ash here with my co-host
Scott.
And unfortunately, our co-host Julian could not be here this week as he has been body swapped with a man in a different station of life from him. I'm sure he will learn an important lesson through the process, and we'll get to tell you all about it next time he's on.
He body swapped with a Knicks fan. We don't know how it's going, but hopefully he's
how
okay.
The other half lives. Yeah, he's learning that, maybe we're not so different after all. Us Pacers fans and us Knicks fans. Oh, by the way, what happened with the game yesterday, or was it today?
Yesterday. Pacers won.
Did they win? Oh, thank God. No offense
yes.
to anyone.
No, I know. Oh, I saw Julian after the defeat on Sunday. I am very glad for his safety and well-being that they won.
But no, that's the thing. Like I've said this many times, maybe not on the show, but like whether or not there's a couple teams, the Clippers and the Pacers especially, whether or not those teams are winning defines my social life for the next several days. It's like, will my friends, will they just text me and be like, hey, let's do nitrous, or will I not hear from them? Or, it's really impossible to say. Well, actually, it is possible to say, and it really depends on if a couple acts of God, a couple God incidences happen. But it just seems like
really true.
It seems like the Lord has given. I don't want to speak too soon, but hey, they're 3-1. It just seems like the Lord has bestowed the mandate of heaven upon the Pacers. I don't believe in jinxes because I'm a Christian. So,
well, I don't want to talk about basketball too much on our podcast, but I think it's important to note that the star of the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, is openly vocally Christian.
So my first essential would be the Bible. Over the last 2 years, my religion has become very important in my life. Just understanding that I'm made in the image of God, and in a world where, you have a bad game and they're killing you on social media, or, confidence goes up and down, I can always come right here. This is like my peace. Just understand that I'm made in his image and he's the only one who can really judge me. Growing up, like the verse that everybody got tattooed on him was Philippians 4:13, I can do all through Christ who strengthens me. And I always believed in that.
Wow. So there you go. I think it's just all making sense to me now, the events of this week. It's all in the plan, people.
Yep.
But yeah, perhaps instead of talking basketball, we will talk some wholesome TV programming. Thanks to all who recommended this to us. Most likely inspired by our Touched by the Angel episodes, because I didn't realize that, there was a blueprint for Touched by an Angel that was on earlier in television history.
Yes. Yes, it really did seem like a blueprint, I have to say. And these angels were, we've only watched one episode, but they seem a little more chill, a little less uptight, while still taking their work just as seriously.
You're absolutely right. This show, Highway to Heaven, by the way, is the focus of our episode. We watched one episode of it. So, maybe we'll watch more in the future. But in general, I do want to share that this show ran on NBC in the mid to late 80s. Per Wikipedia, the series starred its creator and co-director, Michael Landon, as Jonathan Smith. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Michael Landon, I guess to me, most notably, was a star of the Little House on the Prairie show, which ran for like 10 years from the 70s through 80s. I remember seeing, he was on Bonanza as well.
Yep.
I remember seeing reruns of Little House on the Prairie when I was a little kid.
Me too.
Even though it was before my time.
Me too.
But
yeah, he had a big career, Michael Landon.
Yeah, he seems really famous as golden age American television actor. And Landon's co-star from Little House on the Prairie, Victor French, is the second male lead in the show. He plays Mark Gordon, a retired policeman who travels with and helps Smith with the tasks or assignments to which he is referred. So
he was also
this
on
is a
Little House on the Prairie. That's crazy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, yeah, Victor French was on Gunsmoke, Little House on the Prairie, and Highway to Heaven. So these are like people who are in these American classic historical dramas and are kind of like reinventing themselves in these like wholesome, set in the present day, angel based entertainment. And I do feel like watching this, we're seeing where the blueprint really exists. And maybe there was stuff earlier than that too. I bet there's probably tons of shows about angels through the eras, but this one really, I mean, just the concept of the assignments, the fact that it's like human of the week format.
Yeah.
We've called it angel of the week, but more accurately, it would be human of the week format.
It's kind of like Humans of New York. They'd like pick a human.
Wow. Yeah, they pick a human and figure out what makes them special. And
right.
This angel and this mortal ex-cop are the ones who are doing the assignments. It would probably do us well to watch the pilot eventually, so we could, really get a sense of the lore.
That would be smart.
But, that would be smart, but I have a feeling like it's very boring.
Does anything prepare you for a body swap episode, though? That's always a standalone thing.
I mean, I would rather jump right in to a show when it's had at least a couple episodes. This was season 1, the episode we watched, but it was episode 20. So, they at least got some chance. And I mean, these guys are professionals, by the way. Like, they have been on years and years of television. So, And
it shows. They were so comfortable in these roles.
Very much so.
Wow. And I just read, it's sad, but so the show only went on for 5 seasons. I shouldn't say only. That seems pretty solid these days.
By today's standards, that's a long time.
And they made over 100 episodes. But the reason was because French was, he got lung cancer and died. And so Michael Landon pulled the plug on the show. So it's not like it was doing poorly or anything. He just was devastated.
Yeah, that's very sad. Very sad. Yeah, 5 seasons. We tuned in the first season. The episode that we chose to watch is called The Banker and the Bum. And we had an overt reason for picking this one. And that is because Scott and thereby all of us at Boys Bible Study have a special interest in body swap media.
Mm-hmm.
I consider you, probably one of the preeminent experts on body swap media.
Thank you.
It is a special interest of yours.
You know what? I just had a thought. I could be wrong. Let me look this up real quick.
Should we go on?
Okay. So, of Michael Landon's long storied career, one of the things he did was give birth to a Nepo baby.
Oh.
Christopher Landon.
Christopher Landon. Why is that name familiar?
He is the director of the movie Freaky, which is a body swap horror movie starring Vince Vaughn.
A body swap Nepo baby?
Yes. Starring Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton, which at the time I remember being like, I see her in other stuff, but now I'm like, in what? But yeah, I helped run the premiere of that movie at the drive-in because it was during COVID, because we did the film festival at the COVID during COVID at the drive-in. And then it was like Christopher Landon. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, he's related to Michael Landon.
Aha.
Crazy. So I wonder if he, for all I know, this was the first body swap thing he saw was this episode of The Banker and the Bum. I'm going to pretend it is. I think a natural inclination for body swap media was passed down through him. By the way, Freaky, I'm looking this up for myself because I never saw it,
Yeah, a 2020 American black comedy slasher film. 2020, sadly, kind of a lost year for cinema with a lot of, people having to work film festivals at drive-ins because, you weren't allowed to go into the theater and you didn't want to. And also a lot of things started getting released to streaming after like a week. So a bit of a tough time. But it is about a teenage girl who unintentionally switches bodies with a middle-aged male serial killer.
Yes.
Not quite like the wholesome angelic entertainment of his father, but hey, filmmakers want to have fun.
They do. And I will say, if you're a fan of body swap movies, and I should note that I will watch any body swap or life swap movie, but this one was good and entertaining. It's not just for body swap completists like myself. I would recommend it. I watched it twice. Once as a banker and once as a bum.
Yeah, it's good to see a body swap movie twice and really try to put yourself in both of those archetypes. What do you think? Why body swap films? What about them? I mean, I have an answer to that. Maybe.
I just love the idea of like getting, like what the point of this episode is, getting the chance to like be in somebody else's shoes and have like different things available at your fingertips and different types of interactions that you can sort of like get away with to some extent because you're in it's almost like having superpowers without having superpowers. You just have a different skill set, a different, I don't know. It's just a nice idea. I think especially when you're like younger and you're like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then you see the concept of being able to like switch a life completely for a day,
Yeah, it's very compelling. I mean, it's kind of just like primal imagination. Like we can't ever really know what it's like to inhabit someone else's consciousness, but it's definitely like a pretty easy, like, conceptual exercise to slip into. Like I've definitely found myself doing that. Like when I see someone doing something unusual or different from my own life, I think like, God, what it must be like to be like piloting their mech, like the way I'm seeing out of my eyes and like looking at the world. And I think it's cool when media addresses that. I also just think it's like, it's interesting because it's such a trope. Like it has made itself interesting through repetition because basically every sitcom or cartoon and many films, but just to speak to television, basically every like serial story that entertains fantasy themes whatsoever does a body swap episode because like, when you're writing episode 250, you're like, two characters bump their heads and turn into each other.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you just like name a sitcom, you can probably find a body swap episode. And I wonder if there's anyone out there who's like, God, whoever's compiled that is probably like a fetishist, but our reasons are only wholesome, folks.
That's right.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's just like, I mean, the other thing that's cool about it and why it's such an often used trope is like, you can do it on a pretty low budget.
Yeah.
Like, you can just like put somebody in different clothes, or you could just like have the actors act as each other. And
yeah, it's a fun.
That's interesting.
Acting. It's a fun acting gig. I feel like I thought the movie Freaky that I just mentioned a moment ago worked well because Vince Vaughn is a comedic actor, so he gets to like pretend to be a teenage girl and act like a teenage girl, which outside of body swap you would be like, wow, what a dumb bit. But for in the body swap, then it's like if you're doing it remotely well, then it makes it more fun.
Yeah, totally. It's fun to see like an actor get to really change up all the things that come naturally to them and try to inhabit like a way different character than their body looks like. I mean, that's fun. That's classic comedy.
Totally.
I I want to point out that we've done at least one Christian body swap episode. I mean, probably way more, but the first one that comes to mind, the most recent one, is called Switched.
Yes.
So I would recommend going and listening to that episode. I just had it opened. Oh, here it is. It was from September 8th, 2024. It's another 2020 film, the 2020 body swap. There's a list for Letterboxd right there if anyone wants to make that.
Oh,
Freaky
wow.
and Switched.
I wonder if how close did it come out to the same time as Switched or to Freaky?
I don't know off the top of my head. I only know that it came out, and it might have been like straight to streaming or straight to DVD. I can't tell.
Okay.
Because I'm just looking at our own Instagram post of it, but yeah, it's the teen body swap Christian film that stars Madeline Byrne and Maya Horcher as the two teens, and then the most famous like adult stars are Denise Richards and John Schneider. So,
right,
listen to
that's
that
the
episode.
one where they were both in there, right?
Yeah, they both play like the rich girl's parents.
Yeah,
and they're both like, famous Hollywood actors who've repeatedly done the Christian thing. Like we've done multiple Denise Richards movies, multiple John Schneider projects. But
love those two.
Yeah, Switched really brought it all together. Love those two. Oh my God, big fan.
And then the other notable body swap movie we did that we had, I think, did we have Anthony Benua Simon on for that one? I don't remember. Maybe that was a different. Maybe we had him for a blink.
David A.R. White.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that one? Is that one also called Switched? What the fuck is that?
No, that one was called Me Again, because in that one, David A.R. White each day is swapping into a different body. So like he's messed up enough that God needs him to be a different, like go through everybody he knows, basically. It seems like.
Yeah, totally. No, I think you're right. I think we had Anthony on. We keep talking about Anthony on the show. We talked about him so much on the last episode, but hey, why not?
Hey,
cool guy.
Cool guy. Great documentarian. Made a great found footage documentary as well for David A.R. White. We're always worth mentioning. And when we went to see www.rachelormont.com, so glad I can fit in the fact that we saw this.
Yeah, me too.
A poster of his movie Cane Fire was up in the lobby, which was nice to see.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was awesome. Like that, it was just decorating the lobby. Very nice to see. Made it feel like home in there.
It did.
Would love to review www.rachelormont.com. Gonna have to come up with a new podcast to fit a way to review that movie.
That is
because
not a Christian film.
No, we're decidedly not. And I mean, not even really one. I mean, we can do whatever we want, but like, I can't even really decide how we would dip into that one. But, and I don't really see anybody talking about it right now. I mean, maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but like, hopefully that'll pick up. This was the Los Angeles premiere, but just a very shocking and unique film. I really have never seen anything
very
quite
unique.
like it.
And Betsy Brown is like the new Adam Sandler.
Oh my God.
She's so funny.
I agree. She's so funny, and she also just like, she's like Adam Sandler combined with what's an actor who will just like do anything, like literally debase themselves in public for the sake of getting the shot. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor here.
The transgressive Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I want to say, this is going to sound insulting, but I want to say like Vincent Gallo and Adam Sandler combined. Hopefully that would be a compliment, but it's a compliment coming from me.
I think she would take it as a compliment.
I would hope so. Big fan. Would love to talk to her on the show. But yeah, rachelormont.com. That's maybe our demonic recommendation of the week.
Yes.
Which we should start doing from now on.
We watched it the night after we watched the other LA premiere, because it was an LA premiere of Sheehan, Blaze of Fury. So
yeah, we went premiere hopping to very weird premieres.
Yeah.
But it was all worth it. But back to Highway to Heaven.
Swap back.
Let's swap back. So we gave some brief background on the show. I may as well start talking about the plot of The Banker and the Bum.
You know it's a body swap. You know it's called The Banker and the Bum. You'll never believe what the episode's about.
Yeah, let's do some critical thinking, folks, and let's see what themes might be explored in this episode of television.
Well, one theme that's explored that I'm sure immediately came to your mind, Ash, was the theme of standing in public waving to people.
Wait, I was literally just thinking, I wrote down in my notes, I believe that we have, for the first time in a while on the show, identified a new trope of Christian media. And I think it is worth calling this trope a wave of kindness.
Yeah.
After the Kevin Sorbo and Braden Sorbo film of the same name that explores a very similar topic. And what I will identify of this trope is media, especially inspirational media, that may literally be about a bum who waves, because that's what both of these are about. But also it's like inspiration porn about a guy who has like nothing and by all accounts should be extremely bitter and destroyed by life, but he still does insanely stupid gestures to prove that he is like the happiest man on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And this should be a lesson to us as people who like go to sleep in a bed or drive to work in a car.
But it's made clear you still definitely wouldn't want to be this guy. It's like even he's happy.
Yes,
even this pathetic
that's
bum who just waves all day.
And that's why like the Sorbo movie is so funny, because it's like, you know, Braden Sorbo, I know in the movie he's portraying like a local news reporter whose, you know, salary is probably like $18, not per hour. I mean, like, you know, per year.
Per article.
But, you know, per article. But we know like in real life that he's like, you know, always taking photos in like gyms and like hotels all over the world and whatever. And it's like, you know, he's just doing this little play acting of like, how it's so cool that homeless guy who I made up, who I don't actually have to deal with his like real life problems. Like, you know, maybe he smells somewhat bad, or like maybe he's like hard to communicate with, but hey, his life is perfect because he keeps it simple. That's what a wave of kindness trope really means to me.
Totally. And it is pretty wild that it does seem to be a trope. I kind of can't believe how much we've ended up talking about a wave of kindness since we saw that movie, of all the Sorbo movies we've seen.
It keeps coming up because it is so funny. I think we talked about it last week. For some reason, I couldn't even tell you why. But in this episode, there's literally a character, the main character of the episode, well, one of two main characters, is called Willy the Waver. And the reason he's called that is because he's a homeless man who lives in the Los Angeles area, and he literally clocks in to wave and smile at people like it's his job. And I say that because when we first see Willy the Waver, he is in his park waving, and when it's 12 o'clock, he says to himself, 12 o'clock, time for lunch. And then he goes, sits on a bench. So this is his job.
Talks to a bird.
Talks to a bird, talks to a squirrel, talks to an invisible friend named Charlie, which is way too big of a plot of the episode.
Soup's on. Go on, eat up, eat up. You know, you shouldn't pick out all the peanuts first. That's all I could find today. That's it. Eat up. Where's Blanche today, Beatrice? Okay, go on, you find her. Charlie, look at this guy. Just look at him. It's Melvin Rich. He says the reason there's so many homeless people in town is the soup kitchens. Don't feed them and they'll go away. And then he gets the city council to vote cutbacks. Huh? Yeah, I know. Somebody ought to tell him.
And yeah, the idea like this far gone homeless man, not only does he appreciate his life, and try to communicate joy through others through the simple act of waving to them. But also, he's like employed. He's self-employed. He makes no money, but he stands outside in all weather waving to people.
He does. Cheerful guy. Doing fine.
Yeah.
Excellently played by Ned Beatty.
Shout out.
Who was in lots of stuff, but most memorably to me in Deliverance. But he also the guy has nothing. He's so happy. He just asks everyone to smile. He's just like, you should smile. And
you should smile more.
He waves, asks people to smile more, and that's it. Meanwhile, there is is he even a banker?
That's a really good point. He is not a banker. He is, no, wait a second. Yes, he is a banker. And in the show, he's a banker who's now running for mayor. But they do mention very briefly, Willy the Waver is like, he treats his employees at the bank very badly or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we don't focus really on the banking part.
He makes shoddy products and doesn't even care about the safety of his employees, as one of the angels points out to him.
Woof.
Not a good guy. Not a nice guy. Not doing much waving or smiling or talking to the number of people who work for him or even his wife, Carlotta, or Lottie, as he called her 30 years ago, which she clearly
called her Lottie.
Prefers. I know. Very sad.
Very sad. This man, he's stuck up, and would you believe his name in the show? Michael Rich. Is it Michael? Fuck.
Melvin. Better.
Melvin Rich.
Melvin J.
His name
Rich.
in the show, Melvin Rich. Is that just the name of a guy you would want to punch in the face?
Yes.
We don't like him. So, we're learning about these two characters. And then, driving down the road, we meet our two angels. The angels who run Highway to Heaven. It's our first time meeting them. It makes a lot of sense to know that these guys are both like classic historical drama actors, because I'm not gonna lie, when I saw them, I was like, these guys? Like, I thought they were going to be like a minor part in the show. I mean, they just like, listen, this is rich coming from me, because I feel like I've said multiple times on the show how like there's no character actors anymore. But like when I saw Victor French, I was like, this guy, he looks like a bum.
Yeah, you thought he was going to be the bum?
Yeah, I kind of thought he was going to be the bum. I don't know. He's just like, I'm looking at photos of him from the 70s, and he's an extremely handsome guy, but I just feel like, he was already a household name, and he wasn't trying to impress anyone. I just feel like he really needed a shave during this episode. I was like, he just looks a little slobby to me, but he was our co-star. I mean, he was supposed to be like an everyman, like a former police officer. So
right. I guess that is another difference between this and Touched by an Angel. They're a little more put together in Touched by an Angel.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, in the show, Della Reese is like already a senior citizen when the show was filmed. Like, she was in the twilight of her career. But so, I mean, yeah, she's not like in a culture that values youth. Like, she's not 25, but she's still a beautiful woman, and she looks put together.
Yes.
But yeah, this show, I was literally like, him?
Right. Yeah.
But
he's always wearing his Oakland A's hat, which I feel like it was supposed to be
odd.
An Anaheim Angels hat. That would make a little more sense if you're going to have the A on the hat.
Well, I'm thinking about this now. So the Anaheim Angels wouldn't have existed yet, right? Because they would have been, the California Angels, I believe, came about in the 90s.
Okay.
Or the 80s. I don't remember when the Angels started as a baseball team, but they're like a newer team, right? Or that when Disney bought them. Let's do this.
Ooh, let's look it up.
I'm curious about this. Well, I just wish if my friend Matthew were listening, he's a bit of an Angels.
Yeah,
he's a lifetime Angels fan, so he would know this. So let's just I want to do right by him and my other Angels. They were my first favorite team because I bought into the Disney propaganda when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh,
which I literally found out from Matt that that movie Angels in the Outfield was made specifically to do exactly what it did, which was get little boys in the 90s interested in the Angels.
Yes. So they actually. Okay, they've existed since 1961, I think.
Yeah, you're right. They were the Los Angeles Angels in 61 to 65.
Yeah.
And then they were the California Angels until they moved to Anaheim in 96. But what I want to know is, when did Disney buy them? The Walt Disney Company, already the owner of the then Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, took control of the team in 97 in preparation for a plan to establish a rival cable channel that would have been called ESPN West.
Whoa.
That is so crazy. That's something about my childhood that I never realized. Disney acquired the Mighty Ducks and the Angels and made fucking cultural propaganda for them.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use them because, they made those movies that were both about goofy teams of misfits who had to band together to win the championship.
Yeah.
And
we should cover Angels in the Outfield at some point. That has been.
Oh, that's a great idea.
On our list for a while.
Oh, let's do it, dude. I haven't watched that movie since I was 6, but I've probably watched it 120 times.
Oh wow!
So I'm curious to see how it holds up. I loved that movie.
Hey, baseball season so cool. Just started recently. I say let's do it.
That's a good idea.
This month or within the next couple of weeks.
That's a good idea. But it is very odd that I clocked that he was wearing an Oakland A's cap, and I was like, wow. Yeah. Is that his lore in the show? Because they were in the Los Angeles area, definitely. Right. Filming.
Right.
They might have even been in MacArthur Park. The park looked familiar to me, but it's possible. It's possible it was in a park that it could have been in another city park that maybe looks similar, but I thought it was MacArthur Park when I first saw it.
Interesting.
I don't know if Olive Park is a real park or not, but that was the setting in the film. But I was like, why is this ugly guy in an Oakland A's cap an angel? Turns out he's not an angel. He's just working with one.
He didn't even look like an ex-cop, really. He looked like an ex-truck driver, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way at all. That's just that was the vibe he put out and the way he was dressed. But he's an angel. He's one of our stars. Yes, and he does an important job, which is to, I guess we're going to have to watch more episodes to figure it all out, but I think he's some kind of an angel of death too. Much like our boy in Touched by an Angel.
Yeah, it remains to be seen on our side if all of them have to do with death. But in this case, I love this. It's kind of funny because it's we meet Willy the Waver. He's so happy. Even though he has nothing, he has the perfect life. Also, he's going to die in 24 hours.
And I don't think it's a spoiler to say I have no idea what he died of.
No, he died of angelic. Strange. He died of angelic causes.
It did seem that way. I was expecting him to fade away like Michael the way he was dying.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been sick.
They even had the flower petals from the tree dropping down on him. I was like, this is how Michael ended.
It really was. There was a lot. I'm enjoying our study of angel media for this reason. It just opens up a lot of interesting questions. Oh, here's not to nitpick about tiny details of the show. what the fuck was up with the plot in the beginning where the cop is having indigestion because he ate a burrito with olives in it?
Oh, right.
What the fuck was wrong with that?
That was very strange.
That was so odd. And they kept referencing it. They kept being like, lay off the olives. You're crazy.
Maybe that's why the angels are so careful with what they consume in Touched by an Angel. They have like sensitive guts.
Maybe they do. Honestly, that makes sense. All the angels have ABS, angel bowel syndrome. And because in Touched by an Angel, they're only drinking ginger ale and orange juice. They are not drinking alcohol at all. Well, they are taking ecstasy by accident, but definitely not on purpose. And in this show, they're just eating burritos with like the fucking kitchen sink in them. I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that Los Angeles has gone through a lot of history, but it is impossible living here now to imagine a burrito served with olives in it.
No. Yeah.
It does not, will never happen.
That's from the Midwest, and it's not leaving the Midwest.
No. I guess I was thrown off. Like, I don't know if they were even doing this. I guess I was just thrown off because I was like, well, they're clearly in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So they must be nodding to the Mexican culture here. I don't know. Various Uber drivers have pilled me that the racial makeup of Los Angeles has changed considerably over the decades. But for instance, it wasn't as like Latin American dominant as it is now. But I would imagine there were burritos in the 80s.
Yeah. Burritos were invented in San Francisco.
Oh, what do you know?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uber drivers are always talking about gentrification. It's their favorite thing.
Were they invented in San Francisco too, Uber drivers?
I think literally yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, they find Willy the Waver and note that the poor guy is very far gone. He appears to be talking to himself. He's actually talking to his imaginary friend, Charlie. And it's revealed that Willy the Waver will be the angel's new assignment. They are going to grant his dying wish. Now, Willy doesn't realize he's dying, but the angels are going to grant his dying wish, which is to tell mayoral candidate Melvin Rich to be nice.
Mr. Rich, be nice.
Be nice?
Yeah, that's the whole ball of wax.
That's the message.
Well, yeah, but think about it. I mean, you're not very nice. You got no compassion for people. You want to take away what little they've got. You want to close the shelters, the soup kitchens. You want to pave over the parks, put in oil wells instead of beaches.
Now, wait a minute. I worked very hard for what I've got by the honest sweat of my brow.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Mr. Rich, but your bank is very dishonest in its dealings. Your companies make shoddy products. You don't care about the safety of your employees. I mean, the list goes on, but it all boils down to one thing. You're just not nice.
That's all he wants to say. So they do it.
They go to Melvin Rich's office. They do the classic. I found out Touched by an Angel didn't invent this. Angels love doing the thing where they selectively show and then don't show themselves to people as a comic gag, and also because it's very easy to film. Just put the actors in a room and have people pretend they can't see them. And then they do see them, and then they don't. But you don't have to do anything.
Throw them out.
Yes, sir. Take them out, fellas.
Hey, you can see me.
That's right, Tinkerbell.
What about the other one? Throw him out as well.
What other one?
This one right here, you cretin.
They can't see me.
Don't be absurd. Of course they can.
Who can?
You can.
Can what, sir?
They can't hear me either.
They can't?
Who can't?
You can't.
Can't what, sir?
They think you're crazy.
They do?
Who do?
You do.
Do what, sir?
Think I'm...
Crazy. Wouldn't do to have them think you're crazy. You're running for mayor. Tell them let go, my friend.
Let go of his friend.
Whose friend?
Just let him go and get out of here.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
And through angelic manipulation, they lure Melvin Rich down to the park.
And this is another step up from Touched by an Angel, because also very easy to film, of course, but they had the power to keep him in the chair. Melvin tries to get up out of his chair, and he's like, "Well, I can't get up." And he's like, "You won't be able to get up until you agree to go to the park." And then he caves and agrees, and then he's startled to see that he can get up from the chair.
Yes, I agree. This is a step up, somehow a step up in angelic power from Touched by an Angel, because at least the angels in Highway to Heaven are able to do some kind of telekinesis that, force the humans to do their physical will.
Simple but effective.
Simple but effective. Now, we haven't watched every episode of Touched by an Angel, but in the 5 or 6 that I have personally watched, I have barely observed angels exert their physical will on humans. It's almost not done. So these angels are maybe more powerful in Highway to Heaven. He goes down to the park, and Willy the Waver gives Melvin Rich the message. They say, "Let him have it, Willy." And he says, "Melvin Rich, be nice." Which leads to a bit of a moral debate. Melvin Rich says, "That's it? Be nice?" Well, I don't want to be nice. Being nice is for nerds. I worked hard to get the money I got, and I think that the city should be run a certain way.
Yes, what do you intend to do about that?
Me, nothing. And I'm just giving you a chance. The choice is up to you.
That's it?
That's it.
Well, if it's up to me to make the choice, I think the choice has already been made. Nice is for nerds. I'm rich, and rich is how I intend to stay.
So, basically, sorry you're not a part of my program. Also, the main angel, whose name I already forgot.
Jonathan
is the angel, correct. Yes, played by Michael Landon. John Smith, how can I forget? Jonathan extrapolates on what be nice means. And he says some of the things you already pointed out, Scott. He says that, Melvin Rich, he doesn't treat his employees well. He makes subpar products. He cuts funding to social services in order to save money. And these things have negative effects on humans. I would say a liberal message.
Yeah. That he's not doing these things.
Yeah, Melvin Rich, they don't get in too much into the lore, but he's decided intentionally to cut services to the homeless. I'm assuming because he thinks it'll make the homeless go away and it'll save the city money. So,
yes.
He's against, liberal, conservative in the sense that, he wants to conserve the use of government and not meddle with such things such as, feeding the homeless.
Very disappointing. Not cool.
It is. Not cool. Not cool. Willy the Waver gives Melvin a piece of his mind. But here's the thing. Melvin doesn't listen.
Could you believe it?
Would you believe it? This prompts Jonathan the angel to say, "My boss won't be too happy with that." And thunder cracks. Lightning cracks, thunder rumbles.
Boom. He's thunderstruck. Another body swap movie. I guess that's a power swap movie.
Body swap movie. I've never seen that one.
It's the one with Kevin Durant. It's unfortunately not very good.
We were talking about that at the with strangers at the Lumiere Cinema.
At the Rachel Orm.
I was like, why have I haven't seen that movie, but why do I know what this is? And I realized it was because less than a week ago, you were discussing it with strangers that were sitting behind us at the Lumiere Cinema.
Because I heard them talking about it, and they were like, I could hear one of them struggling to remember specifics about it to be able to tell his friend. And so and right before that, I overheard them talking about Uncle Drew, which is a comedy that I love. And so then I had to, at that point, turn around and be like, you're talking about Thunderstruck, the movie, the Power Slap movie that Kevin Durant stars in.
Right. Yeah. Not exactly a body swap movie, but definitely like worth
power
mentioning
swap, though.
Because yes, they swap
Life
powers,
swap
they swap abilities.
Extent. Yes.
Life swap, which is functionally the same thing in some cases. So yes, Thunder strikes, and Willy the Waver and Melvin Rich have switched
bodies. Melvin now.
Let the bodies.
Melvin now, he inhabits the body and outfit and stench and bacteria of Willy the Waver. He talks the same.
Yes.
But he doesn't look the same. Even though he's played by the same guy, so he kind of looks the same.
I was just checking that right now. I was like, wait, that was the same guy, right?
Yeah, Ned Beatty plays them both.
Yeah, right.
And then Willy the Waver, of course, is in Melvin's body, looking fancy, but talking a lot nicer, doing a little bit more smiling. A lot more smiling.
Yeah, and he's winning everyone over. And this is what's important. Through just, I guess what you could call a basic human empathy, not just in political arenas, but also in personal arenas. The way Willy meets Melvin's wife and is just excited to be, in the comforting arms of a woman who loves him. And it doesn't take long to win her back over. It seems like they've had years of strife, this married couple. And all Willy the Waver had to do was cuddle with her a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do a little wave of kindness, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And just like cuddle with her a little bit.
At her.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many ways to do a wave of kindness.
Oh, he has a very easy time winning everybody back over because Melvin Rich is such a jerk to everybody.
I know.
But so
what I think is
him being just kind of nice to all of his employees and his wife and all the people who work for him in his life goes a long way.
Yes, it really does. I love how willing everyone was to just like forgive him immediately, though. Like his wife was literally like, "You called me Lottie," and it just like totally softens her character.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just like cuddle once, and she's like, "I'm gonna stay up and kiss you all night long." Which really
Michael
is very
Landon, he repeatedly has to be like, "No, you can't go so far. Don't do it."
That's another man's wife. You can't do that.
I understood where he was coming from, but it was also like, it's his last night on Earth, dude. You're giving him. You let him body swap.
Come on, you let him body swap. Come on. You should be able to do everything. If I body swapped with someone extremely hot, I would be popping my pussy or pussy, as the case may be.
Yeah, come on.
Who gets
hurt?
Nobody. Victimless crime.
Exactly.
Rocking a woman's world.
Doing the wave.
Anyway, doing the wave of kindness. So, while this is happening, Melvin Rich in Willy the Waver's body, having trouble getting accustomed to the station in life that a bum is. For instance, when he walks up to women, they recoil from him just instantly.
Mm-hmm. And that first time he did that, I thought it was pretty funny because he wants to look in a mirror to verify what has happened, what he really knows has happened. And so he kind of grabs the mirror from this woman who's walking through the park. She looks fairly well-to-do, done up, older lady. And she recoils and is like, "He's mugging me, officer." and like yells for an officer to come over, and the officer immediately takes the bum side because he's like, oh, that's Willy. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Willy has a reputation. I don't know.
Let me see that for a moment, will you?
All right, just a minute. You're not trying to mug me, are you? I'm warning you. I've had self-defense training.
Don't be absurd. Just give me this, will you?
Help! Police! Help! I've been mugged!
You all right? Oh, my Lord in heaven. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good guess.
There he is! That's the one. That's the one who tried to mug me.
Lady, are you sure? This is Willy the Waver. I've known this guy for years. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Now, what's this all about, old-timer?
This Amazon attacked me.
Well, he tried to steal my compact.
I simply asked to see myself.
I'm sure it was just a misunderstanding, man.
The cops were very nice in this series.
You wouldn't go for that today. You know what I mean? Like, nobody would buy that in a movie or show today. I don't think anyway.
No,
where the cop takes the side of the unhoused person and doesn't just immediately like arrest them or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's even like, okay, so I've observed, because there's many like homeless people in Los Angeles, and I've observed cops being like, I would say, relatively nice and caring to them. I've also observed cops being like rude, but I have observed many cops being like pretty nice, like just trying to talk and reason with people. But the reasoning isn't really like, oh, this guy wouldn't hurt a fly. It's like, let's just talk this guy down because he's crazy, and then get out of here and like see, either arrest him or don't arrest him, or what is the case may be. You know what I mean? It's like, there's not, I don't really get the sense in Los Angeles that there's the beloved, the sense of the beloved neighborhood bum, the way is portrayed in this show.
Right.
That may be a thing of the past, or maybe, I don't know, never existed at all. But it doesn't seem to be the case now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm thinking thing of the past.
Yeah. Well, we used to go out and meet our bums. Now we're on the phone, We're talking to worse, more evil people that are farther away from us. And by that I mean people who post online.
There you go.
They are lower than any bum.
Bums of the World Wide Web.
Yeah, that's so true. Bum fights on the World Wide Web.
Bum fights in the comments. But yeah, he's having problems getting into everywhere because of his appearance. And he doesn't have money anymore. And he tries to get back into his own Melvin J. Rich building. And the security guard says, yeah, and I'm Johnny Carson. I just do this during the day for fun. Something along those lines. He tries to run by him anyway, cuts to him getting thrown out of the building and him comically hitting his head against the wall, which maybe that's how Willy ends up dying, from having his head hit repeatedly. It's just all part of God's plan. And then what you're going to say, he goes into the grocery store because he's like, oh, that's how I look. I got to shave my beard that I now have. And so he goes to get shaving cream and a razor, and the cashier at the counter immediately is like, oh, these are the cheapest ones we have, thinking like, obviously you need the cheapest ones. He's being treated differently. And he says, oh, I'll send one of my people to pay for it for me. And then cut to him getting thrown out of the building again. His head goes into the side of a telephone. Telephone booth. And that's just what he's dealing with.
Yeah, that's what he's dealing with.
And he's not being very nice, which is not helping him.
No, he's not being very nice. He doesn't understand that, I mean, this is like, I guess kind of sad, but, Willy has learned by being very accustomed to his poor station in life, that he really just kind of he can't lash out at people. He has to be like aggressively non-aggressive so that people will soften to him because their first reaction is to not respect him. Whereas, Melvin Rich, the rich guy, he would have the opposite feeling. He doesn't have to censor himself. He doesn't even have to talk to his staff. There's the interesting dilemma where it's revealed that Melvin Rich's driver, the angel tells Willy the Waver that the driver stole motor oil and spare parts and sold them from Melvin Rich. Now, granted, it was because Melvin Rich docked him a week's worth of pay, which is very unfair.
Because the car that he drives got a dent.
Yeah, doesn't seem appropriate.
No.
But Willy the Waver handles this in a very Touched by an Angel or Highway to Heaven style way, where he says, I'm giving you a raise, but you have to use the raise to pay me back.
All $230. And he says you shouldn't lie and you shouldn't steal going forward.
Yeah.
But he also understands that desperate times call for desperate measures.
Right. Yeah, that's the Willy the Waver perspective.
I don't know how much his raise is going to be. That's not clear.
Not clear. Yeah, how long is he going to be basically paid the same rate until he makes up $230?
Hard to say.
Hard to say.
But he hadn't gotten a raise in over 10 years, which is fucked up.
That's crazy. I mean, listen, I know these things aren't easy to come by, but you're not going to look for another job.
Right.
I mean, it's the free market out there. I mean, if you could probably find a rich guy to pay you a little more than Melvin Rich. I don't know.
A different rich guy.
I thought that was very 70s, 80s, the idea that someone's worked at a place for 10 years.
Oh, just in general?
As a personal servant and is treated like crap.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
sticking to it.
Yeah, I know. Everyone, I think this is sort of a good thing. I can't tell if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think many things, it's pros and cons, but I do feel in the not so distant past, people basically thought that you shouldn't make major life changes. You should get your job and get married and just do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's good. I mean, I don't know, especially with regards to marriage and stuff. I think it's good to commit to your partner and aim for a lifetime commitment. But I don't know. Ideas from 40 years ago of working the same job for 10 years seem insane now.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't also I don't know. I feel I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to. It's interesting looking back now in my life, which friends have just ended up just sticking at a job that I thought they were going to have for a year.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've stuck at jobs longer than I should have, but not 10 years.
It's a long time.
It's a really long time. Well.
And in the meantime, Willy, who has the job of waving, I mean, I wonder when the last time he had a job was. They don't talk about it. But yeah, in the meantime, he's just giving people raises when
yeah,
Melvin's experiencing the other end of that, which is just waving, I guess.
Yeah, let's hope. I don't know. It's funny because then when Melvin does get back, it's, I think, largely hinted that Melvin is just going to fucking destroy all of it.
Yes, it does seem like that because everybody's so happy to see him once he swaps back and comes in his home, and everybody's like, "Oh, the beloved Melvin Rich. We're so happy he's back." And he's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck's this all about? Fucking assholes! What's going on?"
Yeah, you guys ruined my life.
Yeah,
they're like, "What?"
But he's actually a working class hero now because his big debate running for mayor was earlier that day, and he didn't get to do it. Willy the Waver did. And Willy's main message was like, be nice, be good. And then his closing statement is to tell Lottie that he had the best night ever with her last night.
Listen, I think I can save everybody a lot of time here. I've been reading quite a bit about the Sturgis fella, and he seems pretty good to me. I mean, he seems like an honest fella, too. Don't you think, Jonathan?
I must remind you, Mr. Rich, it's your opinion we want here.
Oh, in my opinion, this Sturgis fella here is an honest fella who'll make a pretty good mayor, and that's good enough for me. So I would vote for him if I were you folks. Jonathan, can I just say one more thing?
You're on a roll, Willie. Why stop now?
Okay. I just want to say, Lottie, are you watching? I just want to tell you that last night was the most beautiful night of my life. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Well, that's it. So, goodbye, folks. Have a nice day. Keep smiling.
Beautiful.
Seems a little appropriate for the debate stage, but it's very beautiful. I love that he started off the debate by like complimenting his. He was like, "My opponent stands for this. I think that's good." Because that's what we all want from our politicians, right? Don't we, folks? We want politicians who will get up there and say, you know what? The other guy is basically just as good as me. But I had great sex with my wife last night. I mean, how could you argue with that?
And people ate that up.
They ate it up.
Were they chanting? What was it they were chanting in the streets for him after seeing the debate? Was it "Get Rich" or like
"Go Rich"? I don't remember.
Get rich, get rich, get rich, get rich, get rich, get rich, get rich.
But yeah, he nailed it. He was very relatable. He gave a speech that Melvin Rich would have hated, but made him very likely to win, because these were the days when you could have one debate and win the race, and it wouldn't have to be based on how much money you've been pumping into your advertising campaign for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was. Perhaps he had been doing that for a year. I don't know. But Willy the Waver killed the debate.
No, he killed it. Like, he had his moment. He wasn't nervous. And that's how Willy does it. Like, he clocks in.
He does. He clocks in.
Yeah, he debates with his imaginary friend all day.
That's right. And he's waving to the public every day, too. I mean, that's what you got to do in that setting. You're waving to the public.
I do really like the television show Politician. That's like espouses like vaguely liberal but completely tepid positions of like, I mean, literally the message of this show is be nice.
Yes.
That's condensed into a political party. He does offer, I guess if you're a Marxist, you would say a critique of capitalism. I wrote in my notes, Jonathan the Angel sounds like Neil Breen when he's explaining the be nice message. I'm thinking specifically of Neil Breen in Fateful Findings when he listens to bankers saying things like, we'd love to promote policies that are bad for our customers. And Neil Breen says, isn't that corrupt? That's sort of how Jonathan is. He's like, well, I mean, you make bad products. You don't treat your employees right. And Melvin Rich is like, yeah, you're right. I don't make good products. I don't want to. Like, he doesn't say this, but the message is like, no, I don't want to make good products.
I want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Very corrupt. Neil Breen would get him to kill himself, no doubt.
No doubt. No doubt. With Willy the Waver's work done, I guess fucking Melvin Rich, he's cool with it at the end, right? Once he realizes that he's a working class hero, he's like, oh, I'm going to win.
Yes, that plus it takes his wife being like, I've never been so in love with you. Like that's part of the argument he gets into with his home employees is that, or like your wife is, because the butler keeps winking at him and he's like, what's wrong with your eye?
Oh yeah.
Because he's like, your wife is waiting for you upstairs in your room. You're going to have dinner in your room. And he's like, why? She's got her own room.
Right.
Where is Mrs. Rich? She's upstairs, sir, waiting for you. In your bedroom, sir. In my bedroom? What's she doing in my bedroom? She's got a bedroom of her own. I believe she's waiting to give you a surprise, sir. She's ordered dinner to be served upstairs. What's wrong with your eye, man? Have you got a tick?
It's crazy. What does this guy do in his downtime?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even have the internet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what did he do? What did he do? Nothing? Did you just work all the time?
I guess so.
I want to know why he's so unhappy.
He was designing shitty products.
Yeah. Huh. He is kind of a Scrooge character, really. Just very grumpy.
Yeah. And, similar to Scrooge, he's being shown the other side of things, and he is just short of repenting the entire time until he finally gets his life back and the gratitude of that. But, we do leave feeling like Melvin Rich internalized the angel's message. And poor Willy is sent back to the damn park bench. And what I thought was kind of funny about the show, Willy shows genuine regret for being back in his perfect life because his life sucks.
Yeah.
Which he never really admits before, even though, he does say he gets lonely, but when he's back on the bench, he's like, oh, damn, it was really nice to have a home and companionship.
Right.
But I guess I'm going to die now.
Yeah. Now that I've had the greatest day of my life, might as well not go on. It's not going to get better.
Jonathan the Angel. Willy seems to show some awareness that he's going to die eventually. I mean, pretty soon. Maybe not within 24 hours, but earlier in the episode, he says, every once a year, this tree that I sit under, it has the most beautiful white blossoms, and it's a pity I won't see it again. I'd love to see it one more time. So he somehow knows that he has 6 months or less to live. But he wants to look at the blossoms one more time.
And he does.
Before Jonathan euthanizes him like a dog.
Yep. He puts a pillow over his face and holds it while he writhes. No, he doesn't do that. But he does.
While he waves.
It did seem like while he waves, frantically waves. It did kind of feel like he euthanized him, though. It really did. It's like
it really did.
Now's the time.
I mean, they told us at the beginning of the episode, but it was really like, all right, Willy, you had your fun. Here, turn around.
I just thought something was gonna happen. Not just and not I guess because of In Touched by an Angel, something's always happening. There's a reason somebody's dying.
Yeah,
it's leading up to some kind of event or moment or thing. That's the reason that they're dying.
Yes, and we've also learned that fate changes in Touched by an Angel. case in points, the episode we watched most recently with the wedding, where he's like gonna die on the way to the wedding, and then they even prepare the angel of death and everything, and then it doesn't happen. So I was like, maybe Willy the Waver, I don't know, like, no, they just turned his lights out.
Nope. See, the thing is, being nice when you're rich gets you everything. Being nice when you're a bum, not so much.
No, it really doesn't get you much. And ultimately, the lesson of these angel shows is that is just how it goes. And it's sad, but to some extent, I mean, that is true. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of people, there's some amazing stories out there, but like statistically, a lot of people never leave their social class. Especially, I'm sure it's true in many places, but certainly in the United States. I can't remember the statistics, but it's like, I think I remember reading that 80% of people, like if you're born in a certain social class, you will remain there your entire life.
Interesting.
I don't exactly quote me on that, but just the general stat there.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
So, people who do escape poverty, they, it's worth commending because they really did beat the odds. But it's just really not going to happen for a lot of people. And it's sad. But even though that is true, I do think it's pretty funny, the lack of tact with which the show is just like, all right, Willy, time to go to sleep. You had your fun.
Yeah. And then cut to they're having a nice funeral for him at the cemetery. Right. And who is giving a little speech about it? None other than Melvin Rich. And everybody's eating it up. They love him now because he's being slightly nice. Like I said, it gets him everything. And he's presenting a plaque to be a little monument and to be put in the park in Willy's memory that has a waving hand on it. And it says,
"A hands
in memory of Willy the Waver." And then in quotes, "He was nice."
He was nice. He was nice.
Wow.
Willy the Waver sounds like a song that would be on an early Bell and Sebastian EP.
I just thought of them for the first time in a long time, like a couple weeks ago. I think I saw their record somewhere.
I think of them with some regularity. I won't say every day, but
I'm surprised I don't, because I listened to them a lot for like 2 years.
I listened to them a lot. Yeah, I spent several years of my life mainlining them. I just imagine a sad, plaintive tune that's like, Willy the Waver. It's very possible.
I can see it. I can hear it.
Yes. Well, what I think it's about time we rate this episode. Highway to Heaven, our first introduction to a new TV show that we could dig more deeply into if we want. What do we say? What is the official Boys Bible Study rating of Highway to Heaven?
Ooh, I am going to give this 10 out of 10 waves.
Oh,
to all sorts of people, whether small or large, young or old, rich or poor. Everyone deserves a wave, and for you to be nice to them. Well, at least for Willy to be nice to them. Mm-hmm. And what I really learned from this episode, 1, I like the show. I see why it did just fine for 5 seasons and why a few people have recommended it to us. I would be interested in watching another one. But what I really appreciated was that I was able to learn the message that you get rich first. Fuck everybody, just get rich. And then if you just flip a switch and be nice later in life, like when you're getting old, everybody will just like eat it right out of your palm. You could be mayor. Was that the wrong thing to learn?
I mean, I feel like you were using the text pretty well. So I support this. I endorse this message.
Great.
I liked it. I enjoyed watching the show. For my own review, I can see why it definitely inspired Touched by an Angel. I definitely think, Touched by an Angel, it made the show a little more fast paced for the vibrant 90s and 2000s. But that is to say, I found this show to be kind of boring, frankly, but it was also perfect in every way. So I don't want to undersell that. Got to give this 2 out of 2 mid angels. Beautiful mids. Beautiful mids. I should, listen, they're definitely both handsome men in their prime. And I forgot his name again. The actor who plays John
Landon.
Smith. Oh, Michael Landon. He had a very kind of like alien beauty to him.
Angelic, you would say.
Yeah, I guess really that is what I would say. Like he actually looks like he's a great cast as an angel. I guess they were cast, it was literally an angel and an ex-cop. I think they looked like that. So maybe this was a perfect show after all. That's what I gotta say.
It could have been paced a little better. I agree.
It could have been paced a little
better.
I like the story, good, as you pointed out. I like the story.
It looked good.
I like the acting. It looked good. So it definitely has some things going for it. I'm curious to see some more episodes. We will do so. But for now, I will say thank you for listening. Check out all of our free episodes on boysbiblestudy.com. If you want double the episodes, why don't you go to patreon.com/boysbiblestudy and be our angels. Subscribe $5 to get double the episodes. And you could generously support us at the $20 tier and get a shout out on every episode. Special shout outs to Nicole, Marissa, Jeff, Mark, and Alex. Thank you for your support. Our outro song is Oh My God by Mary. From all of us here at Boys Bible Study, myself, Ash, my co-hosts, Scott and Julian, our angel sponsor, the ex-cop that always travels with us, we would like to say, peace be with you.
And also with you. If you could see me, you would see me waving right now.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me. Every day